part of our work at TheInformer is to discover a lot more about some of the key interview subjects that we bring in. And one of the examples is the one I have today. In the studio with me is an artist, he's a photographer, but he's so much more. His name is Shayne Hood. Shayne, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, it's amazing when I ask questions to discover who we're talking to and why we're talking to them. You do an awful lot of work for disadvantaged members and sectors of the community. Can you tell us more about that? Where did the drive come from, and why did you step in and say, I'm going to use my art, I'm going to use my photography to not only channel, but give a pathway to so many people so they can see actually what goes on? Yeah?
Well, I would say that it comes first and foremost from my own lived experience. So I grew up as a young person with very relatable experiences. So I came from a home with a lot of family violence. I was exposed to a lot of criminality in my world.
Was alcohol the great driver?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. And that was probably one of the biggest things, that just being exposed to environments of hardship and experiencing that myself. And I guess
it opens your eyes.
Yeah,
it opens your eyes very young.
Yeah, and it was my community too. So there was a kind of a norm to it.
Okay.
So,
but how do you stop yourself from following the examples that have been set? The violence, the heavy drinking, the abuse, and all that sort of stuff. You know, there are two paths to follow.
Sure.
Why follow this one?
Well, I think it's that I did for a little while. I did go down a track for a while.
So you understood where the damage came from.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Right. And through that experience, I think for me, I just saw what was happening to my community, and I just was told by a lot of my friends that I guess I was seen as sort of a leader in my community, and people were saying, you know, you could probably do something.
You got more to offer, mate.
You understand us, and you get us, and you get that we're more than what people say. And I think that was one of the biggest inspirations, and that is what underpins all of my art, that underpins everything that I do with young people. And really from that, I've learnt about building belief in people, and not just to motivate people, but to build intrinsic motivation in people.
And you do it with great photography.
Oh,
so if people want to follow and see what Shayne Hood is doing, where's the best place to go to find examples of this amazing work that gives you such an insight and a depth that very few people get a chance to access? But you can, because you've lived it, as you say.
So I go by, thank you for that.
No, it's true.
And I go by an alias, Johnny Brixton.
Johnny Brixton, yeah.
So that's my artist moniker.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable in that? Is it like you assume a jacket, you put a jacket on and a cap, and you become Johnny Brixton?
I love just having a moniker that sort of sits, because I guess the way I look at my art is I create it, it's very much mine when it hits my studio, or when it's in my studio. And then when it goes out to the public, it's not mine anymore, it's yours.
It's the public's.
So then Johnny Brixton can take on this persona, and Shayne can sit over here. They're very much both me, but it's just almost like having, he is the outlet to my work.
But you do so much more. You're in the community all the time.
Yeah.
You're being asked to do the sorts of things that leaders are asked to do. So do you see yourself more and more as a guy that, yes, you're prepared to put your hand up, and yes, you can show them a pathway, because you've had that catalyst, that you've had that moment, that epiphany, so to speak, where you could have gone the other way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it just comes down to limiting self-belief. So having an understanding that people are a lot more than they think they are. And it's not for me to tell them what that is.
No, but you're a great example.
Yeah, to be able to build that.
There's so much more to Shayne Hood. In fact, there's a Johnny Brixton lurking just there.
Yeah, totally. And there could be something for anybody, you know, that especially I work with a lot of young people in justice settings or in what's called
What are you seeing at the moment with the COVID pandemic? Even more hardship, more challenges in those areas?
In my
Your
own
immediate-
experience and
Yep,
what I've been
yep.
connected to, absolutely. I think that there's it's harder for services to
What
make
can
that
we do?
connection.
What can we do to assist? What can we do to help? Are there things that the public can do? I know we're constantly, we have people challenging us or inviting us to help different groups. But what can we genuinely do? We're seeing a fantastic movement around the world at the moment with the so-called Black Lives Matters protests, where people are suddenly, for the first time, saying, well, I'm going to change the way I've been behaving towards these people. Well, I would have thought we should have been doing that a lifetime ago.
Absolutely.
And a part of me understands, but I've been in broadcasting and in news for the better part of 40 years. I've seen racism at every level. And I've always hoped that the next day or the next week would bring an epiphany in so many people's lives. And we seem to fall back into the worst habits. Do you think this may well be the sort of catalyst, sort of driver, where enough people now, and we get a momentum to make real change? Do you think this is that moment in our history?
I'd like to see that, and I think that I'm seeing that more and more.
That's
but
encouraging.
I think the biggest thing would be just, I think, and I always say, compassion and empathy. So putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, but not sympathy, so it's not to feel sorry for people.
But walk a mile in my shoes and see how it works.
Yeah, and then learn about people. And this is what I do whenever I work with any person that's experiencing disadvantage, that I don't see them as disadvantaged people. I see them as people that are experiencing disadvantage but have the same capabilities that I have or you have.
If we give them the opportunity.
Absolutely. And being able to promote those talents and promote those and bring those talents out in people, as opposed to,
Pushing
put our
back
hand
down.
or even put our hand up to pull people up more, just say,
you've got it within you.
You've got it within you, but let's create an environment and a system that supports that for everybody equally.
Shayne Hood, delight to have you in the studio at TheInformer. Also thrilled to meet Johnny Brixton. Wasn't quite sure whether he'd let me meet. Is there another gallery, another showing in the wind?
I'm working on a book at the moment, so working...
Is there a working title?
It's called Damn Good.
Damn Good.
Yeah, so I've been working through over the last 3 years.
By Shayne Hood or by Johnny Brixton?
Johnny Brixton. So still the same. So so it's all about exploring the power of legacy within American subcultures. So I've been travelling around America for about 3 years, doing that back and forth.
Welcome back, mate. And we've got work to do in Australia too.
Yeah,
but thank
absolutely.
you for being that special character, for being one of those brave souls, and we need it. Sometimes when we challenge ourselves, we have to be brave, because we're full of doubt. And I love the fact that your courage has allowed you to get out there, to assume the other identity, the superhero, Johnny Brixton, and to provide so much support and encouragement for so many others who have been disadvantaged.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Pleasure.
Cheers.